The birth of a baby having Down syndrome, out of 865 births, there's at least one of them with Down syndrome. And this test was conducted in a teaching hospital in Nigeria.
Down syndrome is the most common chromosome abnormality in human beings, occurring in about 1 per 1,000 babies born each year. In 2013, for instance, it resulted in 36,000 deaths, as against 43,000 deaths in 1990. This disorder is named after John Langdon Down, the British doctor who fully described the syndrome in 1866. And it's with that we welcome you to this edition of Health Corner, reaching you from Voice of Nigeria. I am Okenwa Aneke. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder. It's the most common genetic chromosomal disorder that aids learning disabilities in children. It hinders growth and many other things in the development of a child. Here is a piece on Down syndrome as presented by Voice of Nigeria's Henry Eriawe.
In every cell of the human body, there are genetic materials which carry the code responsible for inherited traits and are grouped along rod-like structures called chromosomes. This nucleus or genes of each cell contain 23 pairs of chromosomes, half of which are inherited by parents. Down syndrome occurs when an individual has a full or partial extra copy of chromosomes 21. A few of the physical traits of Down syndrome are low muscle tone, small stature, and upward slant to the eyes. Furthermore, there are different types of Down syndrome, which are the trisomy 21, also known as non-disjunction, translocation, and mosaicism. But the common among children with Down syndrome is trisomy 21. The trisomy 21 results when a pair of the 21st chromosomes in either the sperm or the egg fails to separate, and as the embryo develops, the extra chromosomes is replicated in every cell of the body. This type of Down syndrome accounts for 95% of cases. However, due to higher birth rate in younger women, 80% of children with Down syndrome are born to women under age 35, for there is no definite scientific research that indicates that Down syndrome is caused by this scientific research. Neither is it caused by environmental factors nor parent activities before or during pregnancy.
Better understanding of Down syndrome and early interventions can greatly improve the quality of life for children and adults with this disorder and help them live fulfilling lives. Down syndrome, otherwise called DS or DNS, is as well known as trisomy 2. It is a genetic disorder caused by the presence of all or part of a third copy of chromosome 21. Oluwaseun Kadri, an occupational therapist at the National Orthopedic Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, Southwest Nigeria, speaks on how a child with Down syndrome is identified.
Someone is said to have Down syndrome when he meets some criteria that are characterized by Down syndrome. A Down syndrome child is a child that has significant delays in so many areas of life. A Down syndrome child has significant delays in formation of cognitive capabilities. That means a Down syndrome child cannot learn like other children. A Down syndrome child also has physical delays, that is in growth. They may appear stunted sometimes. That is a Down syndrome child.
Kadri went further to charge mothers to be fully involved when they are pregnant, in view of the fact that there are many things that happen in science that are unexplainable at times.
Down syndrome can be caused if a child is not properly cared for when he's in the womb. We need to encourage our mothers to go to antenatal on time, take up all their injections at antenatals, make sure they carry out all the activities given to them at antenatals, make sure that our mothers are free from toxins. But medically, there is no known cause for Down syndrome. All these things I mentioned earlier are just causative factors that could make a pregnant woman produce a child that has Down syndrome.
Mrs. Tinuke Ayola is a matron at the Ikorodu General Hospital in a suburb of Lagos, southwest Nigeria. She also looks at ways through which mothers can prevent themselves from having a child with this disorder.
There is no way Down syndrome can really be prevented. But in case of parents that already have a child with Down syndrome, what they just need is to see a genetic counselor that can give them advices on chances of them having another child with Down syndrome. Then also there are some tests, prenatal tests that can be conducted to either detect Down syndrome in a pregnant woman.
Down syndrome can be identified during pregnancy through prenatal screening, followed by diagnostic testing, or there can be after-birth direct observation and genetic testing. With introduction of screening, pregnancies with the diagnosis are often terminated. If the examination is positive, regular screening for health problems common in Down syndrome is recommended throughout the child's life. Tinuke Ayola, a matron in one of the general hospitals in Nigeria, corroborates.
They have small nose, which could be flat at the nasal bridge. Then there's a flat, the back of the head seems to be flat. Then there's always a big space between the first and the second toes. Then also they have broad hands, which are always short also. That is, the fingers are always short. Then their palm may have only one crease. That is, any other person has more than one crease in the palm, but in the patient having Down syndrome, they usually have one crease, which is always across it, that is in a transverse line. Then they have a below average weight, and also their height is also below average. Then they have small mouth with a protruding tongue. Then also there's always reduced muscle tone, which results in them being floppy. At times we call it hypotonia in a medical term.
Before now, the mere mention of Down syndrome did not only get many parents with such children confused, but also sent wrong signals suggesting that all hope was lost. The situation was compounded by the fact that many of the children in Nigeria with the condition were being locked up in their various homes to die. These children were never allowed to see the four walls of a classroom, while many of them never grew into adulthood. They died at a tender age because people with Down syndrome may be born with a variety of defects. About half of all affected children have heart defects, digestive abnormalities such as blockage of the intestines, eye and dental diseases, amongst others. According to Mrs. Rose Modi, the president of the Down Syndrome Foundation of Nigeria, most parents do not know how best to care for these children. Hence, they are encouraged to bring them to where they could mix with other children with such defects.
These children have a lot of talent, but they thrive on love. If you don't show them love, appreciate them, accept them, and include them in things, they would never do well. But when you show them love, they can perform so well, even better than the so-called normal children in quotes, because they have, just like I tell people, the fact that the rest of us have 46 chromosomes in our cells, they have 47. I tell people that that extra one is even a talent or something God has put in them that the rest of us don't have, but we are yet to discover.
Education and proper care have been known to improve quality of life of these children. Some children with Down syndrome are educated in typical school classes, while others require more specialized form of education. Some individuals with Down syndrome do graduate from high school, and a few others attend post-secondary school education. Muyiwa Ajayi is the parent of a child with Down syndrome in Nigeria. He feels it is a lot of task caring for such children.
I pray to God to learn how to adapt to the environment, what I'm not begging for that God gave to me. So I quickly summoned the courage and accept her as part of the family. It's not so much easy to have a child with a baby with a Down syndrome, because a lot of things is involved into it. Like my own personal baby, which she have a hole in heart. She have to went to India for correct her surgery through this foundation. And this Down syndrome foundation in Nigeria, they've done a lot with parents who have a child with a Down syndrome. And that is why emotionally, physically, morally, it's not easy to have a child with a Down syndrome.
The Down Syndrome Foundation of Nigeria in the last decade has consistently embarked upon massive awareness campaigns on Down syndrome menace in the country. The foundation, which began operation in a sitting room apartment, has been able to break into the walls of so many homes of children with the disorder. Currently, the foundation caters for over 50 children from all over Nigeria. And here is a mother of one of the children in the home.
I'm Mrs. Anyang, the mother of one of the children in this school. Her name is Oloma. Oloma is my 7th child. I had her about 20-something years ago. I must say I was old. I was 43. It's not easy to get a child like this. It's only by grace of God. You have to develop interest and accept her. But I thank God. God has carried me so far. And the only thing I know, when her father was dying, he was crying for this child that I should take care of her, that she shouldn't let her suffer. When you think of number of years she has spent in this school, her mates are coming out from university.
Precious Oshokoya is a Nigerian student. She narrates her experience and appeals to the public to stop stigmatizing children with Down syndrome.
I personally find it very uncomfortable to deal with because I have a family member that is like that, and I prefer to be around strangers who don't have Down syndrome than to be with her. And it's the most, I think being around them is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced, ever. And it's disarming for, like, most especially people like me who think Down syndrome is a virus that when you touch you can easily contact it. Like once they draw on you, you just want to hit them, and it's not really their fault, it's just their disability. So I just hope like people like me be able to learn and won't be like narrow-minded anymore.
Life expectancy for people with Down syndrome is about 50 to 60 years in the developed world. This is because of the proper health care that is put in place there, unlike developing nations like Nigeria. Here is a cross-section of residents of Surulere, Lagos, southwest Nigeria. They bear their minds on their level of awareness of Down syndrome.
It's being caused by incomplete of chromosomes. We normal human beings, we have 23 chromosomes and they have 21.
Although most people see it as a disease, but it's not a disease. It's just people born with disability.
They are abnormal due to, I think they're missing chromosomes, and they act more or less like imbeciles.
On having it, they discover he has Down syndrome. Well, I didn't have any choice than to take it.
Down syndrome, I think, is just sort of like an illness.
There are children suffering from incomplete chromosomes.
It's an early disease that cannot be cured. You can only just take care of them.
It's envisaged that with early childhood intervention by parents and proper medical care, the quality of life of the children living with Down syndrome will improve significantly, comparable to normal life. Health Corner came to you from Voice of Nigeria, and this edition looked at the Down syndrome menace. The sound manager has been Uzamaka Chuku, while Olufunke Fayemi has been my producer. I am Okenwa Aneke. Bye for now.